Nai. Eine Kinetcher Kepper Joseph. Khensu Keku. Aiem Mesekim. Aiem Metepu. Aiem Mekau. Neferheru. Motherfucker. Yeah. For those who need the translation because they don't understand ancient Egyptian language, also known as Medu Necher, I'll give you a translation. I basically said, greetings. I am the great God who created myself, Khensu Keku. I come in peace, I come in power, I come in words of peace. That's what I said. That's what I said. Then I said, great day to you. Great day to you all. Smoke break. Seshet, shimshimet. Seshet, shimeshime. Shimeshime, seshet. Yeah, every time I smoke weed, I always invoke the Egyptian weed goddesses, Seshet and Shimshimet. That is a way that you can tap in to your subconscious mind. Tap into your power at all times. You feel me? Tap into your power at all times. Tap into your subconscious mind. That's the most important thing I believe that anybody should be focusing on right now. Is that being able to impact your subconscious mind. You know, that's the most important thing to me, and pretty much anybody that is familiar with doing magic. If you have done magic or you've done anything of that nature, you know the most important thing you can do is impact your subconscious mind. Because everything else is pretty much bullshit. And what do I mean by that is this. If I open my third eye and I have the Kundalini awakening, and I can't impact my subconscious mind, then guess what's going to happen? Everything that's going to, that I would want to change, anything that I would want to do to impact what I got going, if I can't impact my subconscious mind, then anything that I would want would only produce the exact thing that I do not want. I don't think y'all hear me. If you don't know how to impact your subconscious mind, let's say I want $1 million, right? I want to pay my rent, right? If I can't impact my subconscious mind, but my third eye is open, I've had my Kundalini awakening, then what's going to happen is simply, as soon as I try to attempt to get the funds to pay my rent, then another bill is just going to come in that I have to pay more immediately than the rent. Or you might have some money, you might have made $100, and then you make your $100. And then as soon as you make your $100, guess what? You go to look at your PayPal account, and now you -30 on something that you would subscribe to on your Xbox Gold membership. You see what I'm saying? Your Xbox Gold membership done took $30 out of your $100 that was going toward the rent that you were saving up for, mainly because you don't know how to impact your subconscious mind, but you are practicing things with an open third eye. Like, to me, like, in my opinion, it's just my opinion. The dumbest question a person could ever ask me is, how do I open my third eye? Well, no, I'm sorry. Let me take that back. That's not the dumbest question. The dumbest question that a person can ask me is my third eye open? Do I think that my third eye is open? Do I think, and now again, they're asking me about my opinion about them. So I just want to emphasize this. Do I think that their third eye is open? Do I think that they have had a Kundalini awakening experience? And you know what I say? Are you watching my channel? Do you resonate with anything that I tell you? Do the things that I tell you make sense to you? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I be like, yeah, you know, your soul is really a black hole, and that you're just in some suspended state of unconsciousness where you have the ability to project your consciousness into a different form of yourself across every multi-universe that there's possible, and that what you're living right now is just one of those forms. If I could say that to you, and you'd be like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. Then your third eye is open. Don't ask me no stupid question like that again. Don't ask me no dumb question like that again. Because if any of that made sense to you, or it could make sense to you, then basically your third eye is as open as you possibly could. You know what I'm saying? The problem is, because you're not doing anything from a practical manner, you're not practicing magic, you're not practicing on spiritual healing, you're not practicing any alchemy of any type of sort, and you're just basically waiting on somebody like a Jesus or a friend or anything of that nature. You're waiting on them, and that's what it is. Everything is great. Everything is prosperous. That's how I always say it. The word prosperous or prosperity actually means, if you look up the etymology, it means to be doing well. So instead of me saying, oh, I'm doing well, because I always tell people that, I'm doing well. Because doing well means you are at the top of your well-being. I'm more than that. I'm prosperous at this point. You know. So what I'm saying in a nutshell for those is, there is nothing that will ever save you. There is nothing that's going to come back to save you. If you're waiting on some shit, good luck. If you're waiting on the ascension, good luck. If you're waiting on Jesus, good luck. If you're waiting on aliens, good luck. If you're waiting on 5D, it doesn't matter what you're waiting on. Good luck. Because there's nothing ever going to come to save you. No, because first of all, you're not worth saving. You're not worth saving. I'm just being honest. Because the simple fact that if you don't have the ability to save your damn self, then what the fuck am I coming back to save you for? Think about that. If we running down this alley right here, right? It's kind of like if you've seen Menace to Society. Remember when you go to Menace to Society? And then they look back, right? He looks back, and Ricky is scratching the lottery ticket. Ricky! Ricky, why did you stop to scratch the lottery ticket, and we in the middle of and they tried to drive by shoot us? We done made it safe, and this nigga Ricky done stopped and to scratch the lottery ticket. This is the winner too. Ricky! Ricky! This motherfucker scratching the winning ticket to her. Like, how far was Ricky actually back? Like, Ricky probably was like at that car back there, at the truck. Ricky was all the way at the truck, all the way in the back. I'm all the way down. Yeah, Boys in the Hood. It wasn't Menace to Society. Boys in the Hood. He like this. Cuba Gooding Jr. like, we made it. We finally made it. We made it, didn't we, Ricky? Ricky? Ricky! That's pretty much how y'all are. That's how people be when they're waiting for something like that. Because if you were to actually read the true scriptures, where the Bible came from, and read the living teachings of Jesus, he was mad they made him come back. Like, literally, go read the Gospel of Thomas. Go read the Gospel of Thomas. Go read the Gospel of Peter, the Secret Book of John, any of those books right there, where he actually, you're talking about the living teachings of Jesus. The living Jesus was specifically angry at his disciples that they brought him back here. He said, it's a shame on y'all. He said, shame on y'all for asking me to come back. Think about that. Just think about that for a second. The person that everybody thinks is the nicest person in the world was pissed. He was like, shame on y'all for having me come back here. And then not only did he say that, he said, when you guys asked me, he said, seek and you shall find. You guys were seeking, and I didn't have the answers at that time. Now I'm back with the answers, and you no longer seek. Think about what that means right there. Seek and you shall find. When you asked me a question in the past, I didn't have the answer. Now that I have the answer, you no longer seek. So what he's saying is he was already here prior. They needed some information from him that he could not provide at that time. Therefore, after he died, he came back again. And this time he actually had the answer for them, but they didn't even have the question no more. Because they had been so far removed from the actual practice that they didn't even know it's like how I say all the time. If I gave you the answer on how to heal yourself, I gave you the answer on anything you ask me, you probably won't do the work. That's what it comes down to. He even says that. He says that I forgot how he says it, but he says something like, they will always pray to God to send them more messengers like myself. But instead they need to pray to God that he sends them more workers like themselves. That's what he said. You see what I'm saying? Like, if I were to ever, I think I might actually do that. I think I might have an Instagram live where I go through the Gospel of the Gospel of Thomas with y'all, just so you can see how he spoke to them. He said, shame on y'all for having me back down here. You know what I'm saying? Like, he said, most people believe that I came to bring peace upon the earth. He said, no, I came to set it afire and bring conflicts, war, and a sword. Jesus was not about peace at all. The real one. The Yeshua was not about peace. If you read the Gospel of Thomas, or you read anything from the non-commodity library, when this man was alive and his disciples were alive, and what they noted when they told him, you will see that it has nothing to do with anything you've ever read in your Bible, and you are being fucked. Ain't none of that shit true. Ain't none of that shit even to be taken like even with anything. You know what I'm saying? It's a book of magic. Trust me, I practice black magic. It's a book of spells. That's why it says at the beginning was the Word was with God, and God was the Word. How do you make a word? You spell it. This is all magic. You are being literally manipulated on a daily by magic. Anything you pay attention to that is not yourself and don't apply it to bettering yourself on a spiritual way or a physical way or a mental way or an emotional way is pretty much is a magic spell being played on you. You care about what Trump's doing? Magic. And Revelations is literally the entire book of the dead. Revelations is the book of the Amduat. It's literally taking, that's what I'm saying. I can read the glyphs. If you go into the pyramids, all you gotta do is look up the book of the Amduat, okay? They have this book online. You can look it up. Everything that they describe, all you gotta look, all the symbology they describe in the book of Revelations, like the devil with 7 heads and all these different things, is already written in a pyramid. So how would the revelations ever happen to you guys? How would the end of the world ever happen if technically the end of the world has already been recorded? That was it wasn't a prophet predicting something. It was a person, a Jewish person, taking something that they did not have anything to do with in the beginning. That's what it's about. This is about usurping. You need to understand what a usurper is. Usurping is basically finding something and taking the credit for it before the thing that you find has the ability to understand it's been taken away from. It's like body snatching. That's what the concept is, body snatching. So what they're doing is body snatching. It's like I'll give you a perfect example. If the land of Israel was a gift of God, correct? then why did the land of Israel only exist after 1945? It's not even 70 years old yet. You know what I'm saying? So what land were they talking about? You see what I'm saying? What land were they talking about? And then the word Israel literally is a code word of Isis, Ra, and El. So everything that you're reading in the book is just things that literally they do anyway. Again, you're talking to a person who practices. I know Kabbalah. I know to clip off. I practice. So I understand what they're doing, how it works, and where they got it all from. It's all Egyptian. And as a person who can speak Medu Neter, read hieroglyphs, and speak the language itself, I understand Hebrew. I know that basically the Hebrew language is Medu Neter. They just switched all the definitions around to the opposite side and made it a polarity. We are not playing the same game as everybody else. They weren't talking about a land at all. The land, you have to understand that how this thing works. Hebrew language, what they call Hebrew, I'm not even going to give them the credit anymore. What they call Hebrew language is basically a bastardized version of ancient Egyptian. So some things that they're saying has like multiple meanings. So for example, in the Bible, when they use the word rib, in the Bible, it's actually the word anav in Hebrew. The word anav in Hebrew means to be side by side with another thing. So when they said they removed Eve from the anav, that meant that Eve was side by side with Adam as Siamese twins, and he cut them in half. That's what that means. But when you translate it into English, it's talking about a rib. They ain't got nothing to do with the same thing that they were actually writing. Okay, that's how it works. So that's the problem with trying to translate these things, because the way they translate it ain't even properly connected anyway. The word El was a Canaanite god, Baal, which is like a bunch of them, but El in general just means Lord, or Mister, or Sir, or Master. It's like it's a dude across the street. If I wanted to get his attention, I'd be like, yo, my man. That type of thing. That's literally what El meant. It was like the most nonchalant thing in the world. And that's also the word God. So the word God, G-O-D, was translated from the word El. So just think about that. You're just calling on the most blank title of all time. It's like calling on a tree. What's up, tree? You don't know that tree's name. You know what I'm saying? You don't really know the tree. So basically, any tree that you want to apply that to has the ability to be the tree. It's like if I call the police department, I'm like, hello, police, there's an emergency. Whoever picks up the phone that happens to work at the police department is the police. That's what you calling on when you call on God. You calling on whoever picks up the phone. You calling on whoever picks up the phone. And the problem is, it's our fault. It's our fault. Like yesterday, I had this big ass epiphany because I'm reading this book that I'm going to be making some posts today about melanin, and I was talking about how we complain about how we need reparations and we need our own land and we need all this and all that. It's like, don't you understand? We have our own day. You don't even understand. We have our own day. Tuesday is nigga day. Little did you know, it is. Tuesday comes from the black god, the black Celtic god. Tap into that. The black Celtic god, which means that you even got Celtic. You done influenced the Celtics or the Celtics or whatever the fuck you want to call it, and the Nordish and the Norse religion. You done influenced that so much that you have a god of your own named Tyr, which is literally my middle name. Tierre, Tyr, but the god is named Tyr. You got your own god, which is the version of Mars, a black man named Tyr, which is the reason why it's called Tuesday, and y'all niggas done turned it into Taco Tuesday. Come on now. This is what I'm saying. It's our fault. It ain't got nothing to do. It ain't got nothing to do with the government or Illuminati or anybody. Anybody trying to get you, it's your fault. You don't understand your power. So you, right, the Vikings and all that. We got our own joint. The Vikings was us. Look it up. Look it up. Look, I got the books. Everybody in my class has access to anything I ever speak about, because everything I speak about, there's a resource for it. I don't play that. I am not speaking to, you know what I'm saying, just speak it out the top of my head. I got resources to everything I say. And if I ain't, it's because I'm channeling it at that point. But I'll let you know when I'm doing that. I'll let you know when I'm doing that. Aside from that, you can read up Forbidden Archaeology. You can read on the book Melanin, The Chemical Key to Greatness. You can read on what other book? You can read on Rudolf Steiner, Universe, Earth, and Man. I mean, I got books up the. That's how much I got. We done turned our own day to celebrate the melanin, which is Tuesday, into Taco Tuesday. You see what I'm saying? But you will blame the white man for that, right? Right? And what we don't understand is, because the fact that we don't understand how melanin works, we don't understand that the brown people, but what has been termed, whatever you want to term it, is part of us too. And now we have been trained to fight them. You see what I'm saying? They've been trained to think they different than us. You know how many Hispanic women have told me that they can't date a black dude because their grandma told them that, but they don't understand that they was the ones that was coming out of West Africa? That's why they're in the Central Americas and the South Americas, because your ass was taken from Africa. That's why, motherfucker. Like, how you gonna try buy them? That's the point. Like, how you gonna? Oh, we can't marry nothing but white dudes, but they the ones that raped y'all. Huh? It doesn't make sense to me. Oh, my bad. I don't know. Yeah. I realize that now that you guys said it. Cause this thing is, I don't know where my speaker's at. Okay, here it is, I think. What I was saying is, though the energy, what I was basically saying is, I don't know exactly where y'all guys couldn't hear me from, but ultimately, what I was saying is, I've had a lot of people that think that has been termed the Latino or the Hispanic or whatever you want to call that, the brown people, that they ain't got no melanin. Like, no, they actually do. You see what I'm saying? It's just that they have been mixed with the European more than we did, because Hummingbird, where'd it go? He just flew above me. They have been mixed more with the European than we have, simply because that's why they look like that. That's why they called what they called. The Latinos were people who were conquered by Latins. The Hispanics were people who were conquered by Spaniards. You see what I'm saying? Those were terminologies because they were the ones that were taken out of West Africa. We were already here, more than likely. Unless you got some real deal Holyfield where you could go back and be like, no, my great grandmother came off this boat and was this and that, then yeah, you probably are African. But if you ain't got that type of, I can go back, and you probably was already here. You see what I'm saying? We have been on Earth for 600 million years. All you gotta do is read the book I got called Forbidden Archaeology. They explained that we have been here forever. So we are indigenous to the earth itself. We're indigenous to this universe and more itself. So the fact you little niggas want to claim Africa basically only gives other people the ability to claim other lands. That is the purpose of why they want you to call yourself an African American or even be connected to the concept of Africa, because then that literally pulls in a reality where their concept of them taking people from Africa all the way over here, you know what I'm saying? That can create something. You know, because you're not going to, the fact that the Olmecs were here, and the Mayans were here, and the Aztecs were here, and then the fact that we have something called the Dorchester pot in Manchester, that's found in Dorchester, Massachusetts, that's 600 million years old, completely made out of zinc. The pot itself is completely made out of zinc, and then the inlay, that's what it's called, an inlay with silver. Okay? And a silver inlay. So with that being said, that's basically saying that ultimately you had people 600 million years ago already in America who already knew how to use fire to mold metal. So and they had hieroglyphs on the metal, and they knew how to decorate it. So it was decorated with like lotus leaves and all these different type of extinct plants that's not even around anymore. So answer that. I'm gonna need them to answer that. If we know that these people was already here doing work that technically most people didn't even know that people could do at that time, right? How did we come over here on some boat? If there were people here since Pangea that clearly stood upright, upward mobile is what they call them. If we had upward mobiles that could mold fire and decorate stuff and clearly spoke some type of language because of the simple fact that they had glyphs on it to describe what different plants, then how did we come over on a boat? You know what I'm saying? Like, those things don't make sense. But because nobody questions it, you know, it's like last night I had an epiphany. And I wanted to talk about this. Right, they call it primitive because the word primitive means something that was in its prime. That's what primitive means. Primitive don't mean something that's like, less advanced. It actually means a lot more advanced because there was something that was in its prime that we no longer have the ability to access. That's primitive. You know, that's primitive. And what it comes down to is something very simple. I asked a question last night to myself. I was channeling Nipsey, working with Nipsey, because I've been working a lot with Nipsey now since I actually know his Godhead name. When you learn a person's Godhead name, when you learn how to channel their God name, that means you found the information that not only applies to this realm, but the next one. Smoke break. I'm going to explain what I mean. When you die here, your spirit stays, okay? Your spirit stays, and your soul goes back to where it came from, right? The spirit is what you guys have been, everybody normally that, don't really know him or have never met him is calling on, which is Nipsey Hussle. Some people may even be calling on his birth name. If they really understand how to channel stuff, then they may be calling his birth name. Me as a person who have met him and others that have met him and also know him, they may be calling on something different. Now, the name he came through to me is an ancient Egyptian name, which is actually his birth name, but in ancient Egyptian. Which is pretty interesting, which is also a form of Hathor. And then a couple nights ago, he came through as another form, a Hathor, but it was just in a different mythology. I think it was Greek mythology. So he came through as Diana's son. I can't remember who Diana's son is in Greek mythology right now, off the top of my mind. So That's happening. And then me and him are only 4 days apart. 3 years but 4 days. 3 years but 4 days. But yeah, Universe B. Okay, so yeah, we tapping it. Exactly. So Supreme gets what I'm talking about. So when you leave here, that's where your soul goes. It goes back to Universe B. So I have the name that's in Universe B. So what's happening is I'm not only channeling what the spirit knows, because the spirit only knows that the spirit basically only understands that which you knew when you died. So if you only knew 2 plus 2 by the time you died, and your soul, your spirit is not going to tell me what 3 plus 3 is. But the soul can, because the soul never existed here in the first place. So I was talking to him last night, and this question came, because we were just talking about money. And I said, I just always, and it's something like in my mind, I just said, where does money go? We print money all the time. We're in debt, but wait, where does money go? You know what I mean? Where does money go? And what I mean by that specifically is literally, where does money go? You know, it's like when you have money and stuff, where does it go? You go to a store, you pay the store eventually at some point pays the person who owns the store, then that person puts that money, he invests the money, buys stuff, blah, 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 but at some point it goes back into the bank. But then from there, where does that money go? Now, yeah, I get it. Yeah, it goes to the national treasurer and all this and all that. Okay, that's cool, but still, where does that money go? Why are we printing dollars when technically you would never run out of dollars with as much dollars that we've printed, simply because it's always being recycled? So where does that money go? Why is there homeless people? If we constantly printing up all this stuff, why is there homeless people and things of that nature? When the money can't go anywhere but recycle itself back into the bank, right? It's talking about logically. But the real question is, where does that money go? Where does that money go? Somebody tell me. Somebody break it down. You know why? Nobody can't? The reason nobody can break it down, because none of us know. None of us know. None of us know where that money goes. And that's the point. That is the point. That's the point. We are being manipulated, and will always be manipulated, and will constantly be manipulated, because none of you guys, I don't want to say none of you guys, because shoot, I believe, like I said earlier, if you're on my channel, there is some work that you are looking to do. Grand rising to you too, my brother Raheem. If you're on my channel, I feel like you are here for some type of spiritual alchemy. But at the end of the day, most people aren't ready for the work that comes along with that. So they eventually are just waiting on somebody to do it for them. And that's what you have with your love and light community. That's what you have with your any type of collective community or some type of concept of a collective consciousness. You have a bunch of people waiting on other people to do the work so they can piggyback off of it. That's really what it comes down to. Because, and how I know this, you guys have questions to things that you should never be asking me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've had people, this dude, and this is like how fucking like disrespectful it is to me. This guy, I'm not gonna say his name, he does Reiki work. He does Reiki work. Reiki. I don't know how to pronounce it. Don't care, because I don't do it. I do it for myself, and that's it. I teach other people how to heal themselves, and that's it. I don't care to heal you for you. That's not my job. Your job is to heal you for you. I'll teach you how to do it, I'll teach you what I know. I'll give you all the resources that you need to do it, but I will not do it for you. This person does Reiki, whatever, and he heals people, right? He goes to go heal this. He's been healing people and all this, and he says, he hits me up and he says, now me and him had a conversation before where like I just pretty much had, I don't even remember what we were talking about, but at the very, very end of what we were talking about, all I remember is saying to him, something, 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 and that's why you only use 4% of your brain, you silly child. And I just kind of left it at that. Whatever I was talking to him about probably was like some stuff where I had to cuss him out. But anyway, the funny thing is he hits me up and he says, yo, I was sun gazing and like I think now I have like this, like every time I look I have like this permanent like spot on my eye. And I kind of just was laughing because I literally told him how these things work, how melanin works, like why people with brown eyes can look at the sun at any point, because that's what's in them. But because even though he has brown eyes, I think, or maybe they're hazel, maybe I don't know, but because he does not believe that only brown-eyed people can do that, or because he doesn't believe that melanin has these powers or things of that nature, he got a permanent brown spot. He got a permanent spot on his eye. So, and then he's like, and then I keep seeing these entities in my dream. How can I protect myself while I'm sleeping? Now he just literally asked the person that he disrespected prior. He asked me these questions after he just told me that I don't know what I'm talking about, and that basically everything I'm saying is racist based, and that I'm not being a service to others, and I don't have my heart chakra open, and all this and all that. But yet he asked me the question to help him at his most dire need. You ever now see how that works? This is why I'm saying, and this is why I tell people all the time. People like myself who know what we know would never save y'all niggas. Ever in our lives. The world could be ending today, and we would know, and we wouldn't even tell y'all. We would literally let you guys just die, because this is the problem. You ever saw the movie Batman, The Dark Knight, and then The Dark Knight Rises? In The Dark Knight, the Joker tells Batman when the Joker is like basically trying to pull his master plan off, and him and Batman are fighting in the interrogation room, and he tells him, you have all this strength and nothing to do with it because you won't break your only rule. Right? So then he finally tells him, like, at one point he says, you don't understand. When the chips are down, these people are going to cast you out like a leper. And in Dark Knight Rises, that's exactly what they did. They turned their back on Batman. Talking about, we don't need you, blah, 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 blah. He driving down, about to stop Bane from blowing up the stadium. The police officer saw the fast car driving with Bane in it, then saw the fast car driving with Batman, and followed the Batmobile. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, just off of that, we know that if we were to ever do something to change the world, then guess what's going to happen when the world is changed and everything's all good? The people who did not do any work is just going to put the people who did do the work under the bus. Gonna throw people right under the bus, and then back up the bus and go forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what'll happen. So we don't technically care to do any of that stuff. So that's why I'm like, so basically when the chips are down, you will literally turn to the devil. Pretty much. Because with all the magic and all the stuff I promote, if I'm quote unquote the darkness and you're quote unquote love and light, then why would you come to me? Why would you come to me? To the dark side for healing. This is what I'm saying. We have got to step in and take over our own shit. Smoke break. We got to. It's a necessity at this point. Because what's happening is the energy is already here. Every single day, every single night, every single day, and every single night. Y'all don't know that. Y'all too young for that. But anyway, every single day and every single night, you have the ability to change your reality. Every single day, every single night. Technically, every moment. Every waking moment in time. You have the ability to change your life. Every dreaming moment in time. Well, technically, there is no time in dreams. So every dreaming experience, you also do too. It's just that you don't have a practicality behind it. So without the practicality, it doesn't create a reality. In actuality, the full moon has already started, and it's in Virgo. The way that you use full moon energy is the way that you use new moon energy, and the same way that you use waning moon energy. Everything runs in threes with the moon. Okay, so the first 3 days is the new moon. The 3 days after that is the waxing crescent. Then the 3 days after that, you got the waxing gibbous. 3 days after the waxing crescent, you got the waxing gibbous. 3 days after the waxing gibbous, you have now what's known as the full moon, which today is the first day of those 3 days. And it is in Virgo. Tomorrow it will be in Virgo, and then on the third day it will be exiting out of Virgo. It'll still be in Virgo, but it'll be exiting out of Virgo, going into Libra. After that, you will now have what's known as the waning crescent. Waning gibbous. And that's what people that are going to be celebrating the Libra full moon, that's what they're going to be getting. The waning energy. They're not going to be getting any type of full moon energy whatsoever. Because by the time they actually use that full moon energy, it'll already have been gone into the waning gibbous. 3 days after that, you will then have the waning crescent. 3 days after that, you are now back into the new moon. And the moon moves in 3 day increments. So not only is it changing phases, it's also changing signs every 3 days. Or 2.5 or so. Yeah, so that's what that is. That is astronomy versus astrology 101. Astronomy is understanding how the movement of the planets work. Astrology is just understanding that the planets work. You know. So that's why I tell people my services come in various shape, forms, and fashions. I offer classes. I offer Godhead readings, the natal chart readings, herb packs. The herb packs right now have actually old people herb packs because of I try to ship a certain type of herb that really helps you tap into the next into universe B, and they end up holding them, you know. So either they held them or they were seized. One of the two. They either held them or they were seized. I don't know, but for those I may owe an herb pack to, I apologize. Like I said, I'm going to get that back to you guys free of charge. But aside from that, yeah, we done turned our own fucking day to celebrate our melanin in the Taco Tuesdays. My YouTube channel is going to be updated soon. My website, I'm updating right now as we speak. Working on all that to get that stuff to set up for you guys. Smoke break 1 second. Get that set up for y'all so that y'all have something to access. I have a lot of information online, you know what I'm saying? I got interviews with Ascension Radio. I have interview with my homegirl Samina Quantum Kitty. That's a 2.5 hour interview online. Quantum Kitty, QUANTUMKITTY. You know, got a 2.5 interview with her, 2.5 hour interview. I mean, basically, my thing is this. We need to learn how to master our mind, or something's going to master it for you. And whatever I can do to help, I try to do that to help. And, you know, I'm just trying to make sure that ultimately those who are in this confused state no longer have that, because I've been there. You know what I'm saying? That's what made me have the desire to actually teach, was the fact that I know what it's like to be online watching all these people who seem like they got it all good, they doing all good, everything's all good, and then bam, you find out some stuff about them and it's like, oh, really? You know? And then it sucks because we all go through everything like that. We're all experiencing this stuff that's supposed to make you feel human. We are all experiencing things that will make you feel human. That's the point of this experience. But once you step into your Godhead, it now becomes, instead of experiencing things to make you feel human, it now becomes you creating things or magnetizing things of human nature. You see what I'm saying? Because once you step into that Godhead, it's your account. You are accountable for that. And I tell people the easiest way to do it is through your partner. Your partner. And this is not a race thing or anything of this nature like that, but I'm just saying, I tell melanated people, stick with melanated people. Because there are people that have not been on this earth long enough, so their mitochondrial DNA does not contain any God at all. It does not contain anything godly. It's all animal energy. So because of that, there are things that they will literally think about, or the way they are is just completely human. You know what I'm saying? So things they may trip about, you usually wouldn't trip about, but because you're in that relationship with them, now you trip about that stuff too. You see? And what happens is you eventually just magnetize yourself back to being a human, even though you call yourself a God. You know? So it's all about being able to understand what you are and going from there. And if, let's say you are one of those people who haven't been on the earth long enough, that's fine too. Then now you know that you need to tap into that spiritual realm you need to tap into the spiritual realm from your disadvantage. You see what I'm saying? And have them activate and transmute things that's in your dormant DNA and just switch up the programming with something that you would need for your spiritual transformation. You see? It's not about, oh, you don't have enough melanin or you ain't been here long enough. Ha, we have, boom. No, it's not that. Because if it was that, then your shit wouldn't matter either. Your shit wouldn't matter either. It ain't, you know what I'm saying? This shit is a polarity. You cannot have one thing that matters and the other thing not matter. That would be retarded. It's like, yeah, you know, I got 4 wheels, but technically I only need 1 on my car. Like, okay, take 1 of those wheels off. Let's see how far you go. Matter of fact, take all 3 of those wheels off since you believe you only need 1 of them. Take 3 of those wheels off of that car. Let's see how far you go. You know what I'm saying? The fact that most cars have rear-wheel drive should let you know something. That the first two is only to make sure you maintain the acceleration of the back two. There is no us versus them. The only them there is whatever you believe them to be. And them, as far as in my mind, is the 1% that understands how this thing goes. And then the other them is the 94% that the game is being played on. That's the only ones that I look at as far as a them. And the only ones that I look at as far as a us is the 5%ers like myself who know what's going on, and we just don't do anything about it. We are the us. Aside from that, there's no us versus them when it comes to this a race type thing. And if you look at it like that, or think I look at it like that, and that's why you rolling with what I got going on, then I think you'll probably eventually leave this channel, because that's not what I got going on. What I'm explaining is the differences between the two and how the two can make themselves better. Because melanin absorbs every chemical possible. So for you niggas that's popping pills, drinking lean, sniffing coke, doing whatever, just know that just because you won't do it, or you did it on Saturday and you ain't did it on Sunday or Monday, just know that your melanin is producing it with itself now. So every time your melanin produces melanin, it now has all the chemicals of lean in the melanin. All the chemicals of alcohol, whatever you was drinking on an alcohol level, in the melanin. So you are literally getting drunk at work, sitting down, not having a drink, sitting down, and then you getting drunk in the cells, and then basically what happens is by lunchtime you like, I think when I get out of work I might get me a little drink, might just give me a little beer or something. That's what's happening, because it binds to every chemical. So, with that being said, y'all, stay black. No, I'm just joking. It's like, what other option do I have? Stay black. What type of terminology is that? I'm not Michael Jackson. Vitiligo is not. It's not out there. Yes, it does. Yes, it does, and it stays with us for a longer amount of time. So it's like, let's say you read online. It's like it takes 3 weeks for marijuana to get out your system. If you're melanated, it's like a month and a half. It's not 3 weeks. It's a lot longer, because your melanin starts to produce itself for like a whole week or so with whatever it is that you had, whatever chemicals you have. Yeah, I'll be posting more on that later on. But yeah, I'm about to go in. I only got 6 minutes left, and this thing is going to end at any point anyway. I just wanted to share with y'all. It's been a while since I've shown my face or even been on live at all. Been doing a lot of studying and a lot of work, so I just want to holler at y'all. Stay wavy, star seeds. Hit me up for packs, herb packs, class, anything of that nature. Readings, Godhead readings, natal chart readings, and Akashic readings. You guys can hit me up for all of those things. DM me for now. The website will be up soon. And aside from that, enjoy the rest of your day. And baby said what up. Stinky little bear. All right, y'all. I'm out.